Hey guys, RPM here. Hope you're doing well and having a really great day. In this video, this is not going to be like a hopium, copium, whatever term people use these days video in terms of, are people going to be sticking around for mining after the Ethereum merge? This video, I found a blog post that pretty much puts it into perspective, including the math in terms of how much of the daily issuance of these coins put out right now, as of right now, when I guess Ethereum moves away from proof of work to proof of stake. And it's looking pretty detrimental in terms of the daily, like the dollar value. And so what I wanted to just go through in this video is just read through this whole article and just give everyone, I guess, essentially food for thought, or actually real math of what is going to happen after the merge that is coming up pretty soon. So this video might be a pretty dire video. I don't mean to come off that way. You all know my YouTube channel is, I'm extremely bullish, positive on GPU mining. But for those that are actually wanting to see or just see the general numbers after the merge, then this video is for you. So let's go, guys. There's a blog post article, which I'll have linked down below. You don't need to watch my video. You can read, if you're more of a reader, link down below. You can read the post. You don't have to listen to my voice. But this video is sponsored by Octaminer.com. If you guys are interested in server cases for GPU mining, check out their Octaminer X8 Ultra Plus and Octaminer X12 Ultras. You guys have probably seen the reviews on my channel. Use offer code RedPandaMining for $50 off if you're interested. They accept crypto for payment and also wire transfer as well. Thank you, Octaminer.com. So this article is on bitproit.com. GPU mining profitability post-merge. Will GPU mining end after the merge, formerly called ETH 2.0? Here we are in 2022, and the merge is still 3 to 6 months away. And mind you, this article that I'm reading here was written about almost a month ago now. So the numbers that we are seeing might be a little bit different, but I'll explain that in a bit. Just like it has been for the past 4 years, it's practically a punchline at this point. But despite the countless delays, we are really approaching the finish line. The beacon chain has been running for years, millions of ETH have been staked, testnets have been successfully merged, and I know we have all been hearing this for years, but our team has been following the Ethereum development closely, and they are legitimately very close. What's the big deal anyway? Miners will just mine something else. It's not like the first time a coin has been lost to GPU miners, and everything turned out just fine before, right? There are lots of other choices, and other mining calculators show the profitability for ETC, and Ravencoin is still pretty good. Sure, you will technically be able to mine something else, but it won't matter. When Ethereum turns off the lights, there are going to be no good options left. This isn't mere speculation, this is math, and the math isn't pretty. So, without further ado, let's do the math. Right now, in mid-2022, things are a little tight, but most GPU miners are in the green regardless of what they mine, and there are lots of good choices. A 6x RTX 3070 rig will pull about $8.60 a day on ETH and $6.25 a day on ETC. If anyone was facing a 28% cut in profitability and profits post-merge, it would be rough, but it would be survivable. But that's not what's going to happen. For anyone to understand why you must look at the big picture, all mining income is based on a simple formula. Price per coin times block reward times daily blocks equals total daily income. The block reward is a number of coins rewarded for finding a block. The block time is the amount of time between each block, and from this we can determine the number of blocks produced per day. Taking ETH as an example, 1,975 per ETH times 2.01 block reward times 5760 daily blocks. That's around $22,865,760, almost $23 million. That's the total amount of income all miners share every single day. Now, let's do the same thing for ETC. It's the second biggest coin, and if it puts out a comparable total income as ETH, there will still be plenty to go around post-merge. Cue drum roll. All right, here we go. So they say here $24 per ETC right now, 3.1 per block, right? Per ETC block times 6,000 blocks per day equals $449,004 a day. All right, that's being issued out by to miners. Goes along, he says, ugh, not even close. We're not even in the same galaxy as ETH. We're 2 whole orders of magnitude off here, but there are lots of other coins. So if the total aggregate income between them adds up to a nice healthy number, things will be fine. let's survey the landscape of GPU mineable altcoins. All right, guys. So you can see just as of right now, the issuance here of in terms of fiat number on Ethereum is around 23 million versus $500,000 on ETC, right? And then now let's go through this chart here of showing the different coins right now: ETH, ETC, Ergo, Ravencoin, Conflux, Bitcoin Gold, Flux, Grin, Beam, Firo. You know, all of these coins which we've talked about before, we've all mined before, but looking at the daily issuance here of, you know, all these, what this gentleman just talked about here, price per coin times block reward times daily blocks equals the total daily income. This is the daily income as of right now. Well, this was written about a month ago, but generally that's around the same. I think the prices have stayed around these areas, but yeah, look at this, right? Flux around 19,000, 20,000 a day. Beam 8,000, Conflux 31, Ravencoin 104,000 a day, Ergo 110, ETC 449, and then there's Ethereum 20 to 23 million. He goes on to say here, things are not fine. Every altcoin combined doesn't even add up to the income of ETC, which was itself a tiny sliver of income of ETH. Yes, I did the math correctly. This is all publicly available data. Check it for yourself. And I essentially did. It checks out. It does check out, you know, looking at the numbers on Etherscan, the hash rate, the block issuance of Ethereum. It is going down though due to the difficulty bomb. So it's actually getting worse and worse. The issuance of Ethereum, the daily income that everyone is, you know, that we're all garnering, the piece of the pie, is actually getting less and less now as the block difficulty bomb is putting out less and less blocks, as you guys can see here, right? It used to be like average around 64, 65. Now it's hovering around 5,900 blocks per day. And you can see the block times are actually going up as well. Look at that. Just recently, now it's like 14.45 seconds. So the network for Ethereum is getting slower and slower, and so the issuance is getting less and less, right? If that makes sense. Okay, going along, they say, even if I was off by 50%, it's still game over. It's like the Titanic is sinking, and there's only one rickety old lifeboat to share. There is no universe where almost everyone doesn't drown. This is why I hate mining calculators with a burning passion of 1,000 suns. If they're your primary way to predict the future, things don't seem so bad. But mining calculators are not showing you the relative hash power and income of the various coins when they show you all these alternatives to ETH. They lull you into a false sense of security. Without ETH, GPU miners are screwed. The total amount of income available to all the GPU miners is going to drop by 97%. History is not a useful guide of what comes next because nothing like this has ever happened before. In the past, when GPU miners lost LTC, Litecoin, Zcash, or XMR to ASICs, they were just one small part of a very big pie. This situation is completely different. This is like the whole pie vanishing overnight, and miners will have to fight for the leftover crumbs. It is essential to understand this. This is an unprecedented and catastrophic reduction in income for GPU miners. To put this in perspective, let's walk through the potential scenarios of how this actually plays out. We still must make some assumptions and approximations first. Rough calculations based on the total hash power suggest roughly 10 to 15 million GPUs are mining. Use the 10 million number that puts the average income per GPU at about $2.36 per day. This suggests that the average GPU is an RTX 3080. So this is being very conservative. Certainly the amount of hash power is ETH ASICs, but given that they can mine ETC as well and all other coins add up to practically nothing, we can ignore that factor. Unfortunately, in this case, ASICs get to share the lifeboat. A warning, the numbers are going to be so shocking, you will probably think to yourself that they must be wrong in some way. They are not. So going along, guys, these are now scenarios that bitproit.com is mentioning here. So the best case, in this oversimplified best case scenario, nothing changes between now and the merge. All crypto prices, total hash power, and block rewards stay the same. On the merge day, all GPUs divert to other coins. 10 million GPUs are now left to split approximately 775,000. Average income per GPU, 0.0775. You read that correctly. Income has dropped from $2.36 per day to 7 cents per day. And that average GPU is burning at least 25 cents in electricity per day at an average of 10 cents per kilowatt hour. In other words, you need 3 cents per kilowatt hour electricity just to break even. And if you have free electricity, your total takeaway per day is a measly 7 cents. But of course, it's more complicated than that. Most miners know the merge is coming, and many will turn off before then, and crypto prices fluctuate wildly every day. So let's play with the numbers and look at some other scenarios. Okay, number 2, the plausible best case scenario. Let's assume that prior to the merge, half of the GPU shut off, and suddenly the price of all crypto doubles. Pre-merge, the average GPU is making around $9.44 a day. Awesome. Enjoy that while it lasts, because post-merge, 5 million GPUs are splitting 1.549 million a day. The average GPU is now making 31 cents per day after electricity. The average GPU is still effectively losing money, and that's the plausible best case scenario. WTF even has to happen to us to get back into the status quo. Oh, all right. Scenario number 3, guys, the drunk on hopium best case scenario. Things are already tight at current returns. So what needs to happen to maintain the $2.36 average? We would need a price of crypto to 6x, and at that same time, 80% of the GPUs to shut off. 2 million GPUs are then splitting 4.65 million per day. Average per GPU is $2.32 profit a day. Can you imagine a world where crypto goes 6x in the next few months and 80% of the miners still shut off? I can't. This isn't happening. All right, next scenario. Number 4, the plausible worst case scenario. Let's take a plausible worst case scenario that pre-merge, the price of crypto drops another 25%. And despite that, the only 25% of miners shut off. Average income per GPU, 7 cents, just like our current base. The takeaway here is that even though the base case was contrived and oversimplified example, there are very realistic scenarios where that number still plays out. The last scenario here, the miner Damerung, I'm assuming this is like European German or something. I can't say that, so sorry if I butchered that. Miner Twilight, aka worst case scenario. Okay, just for fun, let's imagine how bad things could really get. The price of crypto drops another 50%. And despite that, the hash power never declined. The average per GPU post-merge is 3.5 cents. That's 50% less than the base case. But if we're being honest, it hardly even matters. Half of effectively 0 is still 0. The takeaway here should be clear. Realistically, there's no good outcome for miners on merge day. A miracle needs to happen to keep things the way they were. Winter is coming. So guys, let me know about these scenarios if you think any of these scenarios will play out. One of these scenarios has to play out. So let me know which one you guys think. Okay, going down, let's just finish off this article here. So where do we go from here? Long-term picture of GPU mining. These scenarios are only what happens immediately after the merge day. Mining has always been self-correcting system, so what needs to happen to us to get back to the point where GPU mining isn't a complete waste of time, let's say $1.50 a day revenue on average per GPU, we'd need crypto prices to be stable, to stay stable, and 94% of GPUs to shut off. If we're heading into a crypto bear market and prices drop by another 50%, we need 97.5% of the GPUs to shut off. If you actually need to pay for electricity, realistically, 99% of the other GPUs need to shut off. No exaggeration. That's really what needs to happen. The average miner won't survive this. Even the most dedicated 1% of miners will barely scrape by, losing money every day until we get to this point. Miners won't be able to just mine something else near term. By now, it should be very, very clear that the average miner won't be able to just mine something else, and make no mistake, this must happen. This will happen. The math insists on it. The choice every miner will need to make is how long they can stand to lose money before they throw in the towel. Even if you turn off your rigs off, GPUs are going to lose the tremendous amount of resale value every single day. So even if you're not mining, you're still losing money indirectly. How long will it take for 95 to 99% of the GPUs to peel off? Hard to say, but I think there will probably be a very steep decline up front and then a slow bleed of miners giving up one by one when they fed up with losing money for weeks or months on end. This isn't like proof of stake where you can just hold onto your coins and pray that the price recovers. Miners need to pay to play, and all of the altcoins combined simply cannot afford to pay. This is going to have significant real-world consequences. I've been really taken back by the prevalence of the sentiment that miners can just mine something else. That's not going to happen. Businesses that were profitable the day before will be wrecked overnight. Lives will be ruined. Personally, I saw this coming a mile away and sold all my GPUs last year, but I'm still very sympathetic to the pain this will cause. Oh, this definitely hurts here. This definitely hurts, guys. Okay, going along. GPU mining is here to stay. Still hopeful for long term. Years from now, it's possible that GPU mining has a renaissance, and we do this all over again. It's not out of the question that within a few years, the aggregate income of GPU miners increases by 6x from post-merge baseline without ETH. After the 80% of miners have already shut down, I'm not sure I'd bet on that happening anytime soon, but I can at least entertain the possibility, or it's possible that this catastrophe salts the earth and GPU mining is effectively dead from a profitability perspective and remains a niche hobby for the rest of our lives. Where's the GPU miners' resistance? Time will tell. Before I conclude, allow me to step onto my soapbox for one last moment here. A year ago, I was certain that miners would come together in the end to fight the merge using a very dirty trick in the book. There are literally billions of dollars at stake here. Billion-dollar industries typically don't vanish overnight. I figured a coalition of large miners, and maybe even Nvidia and AMD themselves, would step up on the plate to defend their livelihood. And small miners around the world would rally behind this effort, and it would make Bitcoin block size war look like a walk in the park. Because this wouldn't just be a fight for the path forward, it would literally be a fight for survival. And here we are, on the eve of the apocalypse, and there are just crickets. All that most miners seem to care about is surviving another day, mining ETH, and then dreaming of a future where they'll just mine something else at just a bit less income, completely ignorant of how dire the post-merge situation will be. I think the reality of the situation is that despite the POS advocates want everyone to believe, GPU miners are so legitimately decentralized that getting them to do anything together is like herding cats. Even the largest ETH miner, accounting for, let's say conservatively 5% of the hash rate, is a small fish in a huge area. GPU miners never stood a chance against the concentrated wealth of highly coordinated whales that desperately want POS to happen so that they can pump their bags with virtually zero effort. I hope that magnificently blows up in their face because they've created something truly beautiful here before they threw it under the bus. I think 5 years from now, we'll look back at a much lower priced ETH and be able to clearly point to the merge as where things went off the rails in retrospect. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. The irony that the coin that created the most successfully decentralized proof of work network is the same one that kicked it to the curb is almost too much to bear. It's straight out of a Twilight Zone. They've practically achieved the impossible, and it's so disappointing to see almost with no one with the means, motive, or opportunity cared enough to fight for it. Oh, yeah, yeah, man, I can definitely agree to that. I'm probably one of those that probably could have done better. But, all right, going along. Delay the merge years, avoid the worst case scenarios. Realistically, the only path forward where GPU miners don't get obliterated by the merge is if it doesn't happen for another few years. The price of ETH gradually falls to the point where GPU miners can gracefully lay down their GPUs and walk away without too much carnage. I think that extremely unlikely at this point, but admittedly, the chances are non-zero. It's certainly not too late for miners to come together and fight for their right to prove to the world that Ethereum isn't just another centralized shitcoin, or at the very least come together and create something new worth fighting for before it's too late. I just thought we'd be well down that path by now. In aggregate, GPU miners are going down in flames. There's no two ways about it, but from an individual miner's perspective, it's not too late to cut your losses. If you're daring, you can even work this to your advantage. Even if you don't realize it, all GPU miners have been losing money since the start of 2022. Every single one of you. Here's why. Okay, here's a article which I'm probably gonna do another video about. It just shows the hardware pricing has been dwindling lower and lower. Resale value has been going lower and lower. Profitability has been going down. I'll talk about that in another video. Anyways, just finishing off, he says here, BitPro's role, fast, convenient exit strategy. This is not a sponsored video or anything, guys. I'm just reading this whole article. At this point, we are 100% focused on assisting miners in their exit from GPU mining. Temporary or permanently, no matter the size or location of your farm, we can make a buyout offer and in the end, in most cases, pay and pick up in person for an easy, no-risk transaction. Our offers, okay. You guys can read the rest of that. This is basically, looks like they have this is a company that offers assisting miners in exiting. And yeah, I've actually heard of BitProIT.com back in, I think, 2018. as well. This article, guys, okay, just giving you my little 2 cents here. This article shows the exact reality, the math in terms of the exact daily profit, right? The income that these coins are pushing out right now. And ultimately, and we've all talked about it, we've all explained it before, the best case scenario for us is really the crypto, those cryptos, these coins, these other coins have to go up in price. And it sounds like the scenario here is he talked about like 6x or something like that, right? To at least be a little bit profitable for us. And so in a perfect world, right? A perfect world, these coins have to go up. Anyways, guys, this video is long enough. If you watch the very end, please let me know, but I want to gauge my community here. I want to know from you guys with these numbers that we just talked about, the scenarios that BitPro has explained here. This is very well thought out article. And I think, you know, this is definitely food for thought. And well, not food for thought, it's actually reality that it is coming, guys. The merge is coming and things are looking pretty dire at this point in time. Just to end off, a little bit of hopium here. I am going to continue to be in this space in mining, whether or not it's going to be profitable or not. And I want to be honest and truthful and everything to you guys. I want to make sure I portray a lot of information to make your own financial decision in this space in mining. And so everyone that is investing their own personal money, and I understand that everyone's financial situation is completely different. You know, GPU mining, as what BitPro explains here, that, you know, if 97% of miners have to drop off in order to become profitable again, essentially for these other coins, then it begs the question, how many of you guys are going to stick around for mining? That you are financially capable of essentially paying the expenses out of pocket, mining and hodling those coins and waiting for the next run up of Bitcoin. And if you believe in the Bitcoin cycle and, you know, all the coins will eventually go up, if you can actually handle that for the next couple of years, potentially, if that happens in the next couple of years, who knows, right? Anyways, my friends, thanks for watching. Please let me know your thoughts. This is definitely a very intense topic that I think everyone wants to know and talk about. And I think this blog post here is definitely one that really puts it into perspective here. So thank you, BitPro, for this article. Link down below if you guys want to read it again, if you made this end. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good one and peace out.